We're in a sub battle this week against the 49ers, and we might not be able to beat them on the field, but we can take care of business off the field. See how I phrased that to avoid being weird? Hit that sub button. Let's make sure we take down the Niners in subs gained this week. It's all free when you guys subscribe. Let's go to Alvin Kamara, the trade rumors. So what happened here over the weekend, basically, was thanks to media speculation and then also outright fraudulent reports that were totally fake and never true to begin with, there was a lot of Alvin Kamara Cowboys conversation. RG3, CBS Sports, other outlets, etc., said, well, maybe Dallas should call the Saints about Alvin Kamara since the Cowboys lost the Saints and that one Broncos loss against the Cowboys years ago are the exact same picture, and the other team is now terrible. Saints are falling apart here. Well, then it got out of hand because the original tweet came from whatever Football Fanatics is, some fake fantasy account, said Alvin Kamara has requested a trade from the Saints and several teams have contacted him. Our sources, of which they do not exist, said that the Cowboys, Bills, Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, Bengals, and Ravens, the Ravens was your first clue that this was fake, by the way. They have Derrick Henry, not going to Alvin Kamara. Saints won a third-round pick or better in a pick swap. That was the claim. Now, versions of that exact tweet went viral. And I do say versions because the one that really went viral was from a different fantasy person who straight up copy-pasted the whole damn thing. Internet's a bad place to be sometimes. They were all fake. None of those reports were true. The one guy even put an Adam Schefter photo on top of it. Like it was a previously used Adam Schefter, Alvin Kamara breaking news photo with the copy-paste tweet from somebody else. Obviously, Schefter never said that. Never came out of his mouth. He did not say that Kamara demanded a trade. And then Alvin Kamara called that guy out, and then the guy deleted the tweet. And now act like nothing happened because he got stealing stuff. That was a lie, which is like the double whammy of all double whammies as far as I'm concerned. Now, the general Alvin Kamara trade stuff does make some sense. That's why CBS Sports mentioned it. It's why RG3 mentioned it. It's why Dallas keeps getting linked because their backfield's bad. Rico Dowdle's been, I think, what most of us thought Rico Dowdle was going to be. Zeke Elliott and Deuce Vaughn, from a negative standpoint, what we feared they were going to be, which is not very impactful. And Lipke is kind of like a weird H-back hybrid running back who's not really a full-time back either. So we'll spend some more time on Kamara here. But would you pursue him in a trade if he were available? I'm not sure that's actually viable, but I want to have the general topic conversation here as well. Y for yes, N for no. Would you pursue Alvin Kamara? Go vote at the pinned comment of today's show. There are some issues here beyond the is it even doable and is it even true of the reporting, right? The first issue here is the cost involved. And that goes for both the contract cost, we'll get to here in a second, and also the trade compensation cost. Two things that the Cowboys always seem to find their way into having issues with. Now, Kamara this year is due a prorated $11.7 million. Now, that figure, it's not the full 11.7. It's about half of it because it's the prorated figure, what he's already been paid by the Saints over the regular season. So let's just conservatively round and say he's due about $6 million. Which is doable for a team that has $21 million in salary cap space. Now, Alvin Kamara is a rental. He has a $25 million base salary in 2025, which he's not going to see. He is going to get cut. The Saints never intended to pay him that amount of money. That's why he wanted a big contract in the offseason and didn't get one because, well, teams don't like paying soon-to-be 30-year-old backs who have not been as productive as they were in the peak of their primes. The Cowboys, with this iteration of the organization, with this team, they don't want to spend assets. They don't want to trade and spend future cap space. They're going to roll it over this year. They're going to roll over that $6 million that they pay Alvin. They count it for next season. And they want their picks. I also don't know what pick the Saints would even want. You know, if they were truly shopping because they're going to cut him, it kind of becomes a best offer is all we're going to accept because we can't get a comp pick back for him. So it's a little bit complicated for a team that maybe doesn't want to bail on the season and maybe wants to give Spencer Rattler his number one back to see what Rattler's able to do until Derek Carr can return. So there is a lot of complications on that front. Now, today's show is made possible by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. You can run your game all season long on PrizePicks. It is available in over 30 states, including California, Georgia, Florida, and Texas. It is also the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy. So your lineups stay in play even if one of your guys gets injured. If a player goes down the first half, doesn't return, PrizePicks keeps your lineup live. They do little free squares, I call them. For example, return to basketball, they got Anthony Edwards more than a half point. That's a no-brainer. I'm going to steal my boy Chugs' picks this week. He's got Alperen Şengün more than 30.5 points and boards. The recently extended Jalen Green more than 21 points as well. Sign up today. Download the app, prizepicks.com/CLNS, and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to get that $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. The second issue you run into here with Alvin Kamara, because we're not done yet, is the player worth it? What the money is going to be and what the trade compensation is going to be. It, in a way, depends on which version of Alvin Kamara do I end up getting. Which version of Kamara arrives in my organization? Is it the dynamic, explosive play getting one, or the guy that hasn't been the same over the last couple of seasons? His statistical output has not been particularly great. So trying to figure out which Kamara I'm getting is kind of important. You can look at his numbers over the last several seasons, and also, as we'll get into here in a second, more nitty-gritty over this campaign. Kamara, the last 4 years, not including 2024, has had 1 year of better than 4.1 yards per carry. Now, remember last year he was that check down machine in a bad Saints offense. He was a PPR fantasy dream. The 2020 version, I haven't seen consistently in 3 years now. And the numbers this year, look, they have come crashing back down. Under 4 yards per carry. Longest 7. He's got a bunch of touchdowns. The issue is the guy we saw against us and the guy we've seen since then haven't been that great. The first 2 games against the Panthers and the Cowboys, 35 carries, 198 yards, 7 catches, 92 yards, 5 total scores. He was averaging 5.7 yards per carry. The last 5 games, on 32 more carries, he's got a grand total of 6 extra yards on the ground, a lot more catches, but not really great efficiency there either. His yards per carry have plummeted from 5.7 to 3.2. I don't necessarily need another 4 yard per carry back. Mostly because I am unconvinced this offensive line and this scheme is good enough to be able to put my backs in the best position to succeed. Is he an upgrade over Zeke, Deuce Vaughn, etc.? Yeah. He can actually do stuff for me. He can make some guys miss. But I don't think he's the same guy we saw against us. I think that game was kind of more of an outlier in the end. His yards after contact, by the way, is actually behind Rico Dowdle, which is concerning since I fully anticipate having to see a bunch of Cowboys running backs running around for their lives and not having great blocking up front. So in general, do the Cowboys need another back? 1 for yes, 0 for no. Sound off in the comment section of today's video. 1 for yes, 0 for no. The third issue you face is this. It's the Jones boys' egos. That's Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. Because remember, this front office, these decision makers are adamant you don't need a running back. This is what Jerry Jones did previously this year, and the results not really changed, by the way. He says, I don't have anybody else in the world asking me about this but some media. A few media have gotten out here and written some stories about how we're going to go with a running back in the draft or we need a running back, and they're trying to cover their you-know-what as we go through the season. Look, by the way, that was the most obvious projection ever of Jerry just not wanting to admit that they needed a back, and he doesn't want to admit it. In conclusion, don't get your hopes up here. It might not even be the worst thing if you miss out on him. Maybe he's a free agent. We can revisit that conversation again. But I also just wonder if this schematic and offensive line blocking is enough to have a player like Kamara thrive the way that he maybe would elsewhere. Let's talk injury news here on today's show as well. First up, Micah Parsons. He spent the bye week in Dallas getting rehab done, hopefully to play against the 49ers. Mike McCarthy asked about it at his press conference today, said he's doing good. He was in here every day. Micah's making progress. It is still a question mark. It is still uncertain if Micah is going to be able to go and play and gut it out against the Niners. He says he's going to try. Micah Parsons did. He's mentioned it a little bit before we went live on today's show. He made the comment that he's going to try. He's doing everything he can. He's been working hard. Not up to him. It's to the training staff, the coaches. It's all fine, all valid. There is no guarantee that Micah Parsons is able to play against the 49ers. It is about as early as possible in that normal 4 to 6 week window. It's kind of like 3.5 weeks. But there is a chance. There is a chance he's able to go and play. Now, Cowboys miss him. Even if he does play, this might be more of a pitch count, limited rotation type of deal because he just might not be 100%. The bye came at a decent time for Micah, and others we'll get to here in a second, but I think it's 50-50 at best he's able to play. So will Micah Parsons play versus the 49ers? P for play, S for sits. Let me know in the comments of today's show. Couple other injuries to note here. Eric Kendricks. Mike was kind of vague on him. He has the calf and shoulder injuries that caused him to miss week 6. In theory, the bye is beneficial. Mike did the whole we'll see if he's able to go, and then we'll see all week long, and then he just never even practiced. We'll know more Wednesday and Thursday. If Kendricks can't practice Thursday, bad sign. It's a bad sign. If I had to guess, though, I do think you get DaRon Bland back. I do think you see Bland back and out there and active and playing. I think he was close last week. Cowboys played it a bit conservative. Probably was the right call because he wouldn't have stopped you from getting your butts kicked like the Lions. No 3-player combination, I think, would have been enough in the end. So in theory, Bland comes back. Diggs is back out there. Jordan Lewis is back out there. And then somebody ends up going on IR or is released, whether that's Kalen Carson or Andrew Booth. Someone has to go on out of the active roster to make room for DaRon Bland.